Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Dubious Book Club podcast. I'm Aubrey, one of your dubious creatures. Say hello, other dubious creature.
Yeah, that's right. You're trapped in here with me.
Just the two of us this month.
Yeah.
Uh, as we discuss Daggerheart by H.M. Wolf. And
Daggermouth.
or,
Daggerheart is the RPG
yes, it
by
is.
Critical Role, but I
Yes, it
forgive
is.
you because, let's face it, the only thing interesting about this book is that fucking title.
Um, I would argue that there are more interesting. There are a lot of interesting things in this book, but quick
Uh-huh.
note before we really get into things is the content warnings for this book. Just so you, the listener, can be you can. There's a word I'm
You
looking
okay?
for. No.
Okay. For those of you at home, if you are sensitive to any of the following topics, which credit to the author of the book, they list before things even get started:
Mhm.
death, murder, and or torture, emotional, psychological, physical abuse, mentions and conversations of sexual assault, mentions and conversations of child abuse, suicidal ideation and alcohol abuse, open door sex and sexual activities, graphic language, oppression, classism, and sexism.
Yep.
All the good stuff.
This is a bit of a doozy, dystopian fiction. Uh,
Yeah. Um, so again, if you're feeling any sort of way about any of these, especially given, I don't know, recent events in this
Gestures at the world.
in this fucking Metal Gear Solid game we all seem to be trapped in. Uh yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe sit this one out.
Mhm. Uh, I didn't actually look, but I would have liked it, like in the beginning of the book, like a little glossary of terms.
That would
Just
require no, see, the problem is this book, Daggermouth, actually has the opposite problem to Nevernight. Whereas Nevernight would not shut up about its world building. Daggermouth has taken the novel opposite approach of you will know nothing and you will be happy about it.
But to be fair, that is very audience surrogate of it, because quite often the characters
Sure.
really don't know a lot either.
What the fuck is a Daggermouth? Like, I know what it is, but like, where did that
Mhm.
name come from? What is that about? Where did this tradition start? All of these things and more, you will not find out. So strap in, folks.
Yep. Everything opens up with we meet Grayson Sorrell.
Yeah, during a public execution.
Great things to start your book on.
A public live streamed execution for crimes against the motherland, specifically for conspiracy against the heart, illegal communication between the rings, fornication, and love across faction lines.
Uh,
God.
the book really lays it
Hello,
out there.
Divergent. It's been a while. Nice to see you. Nice to see that despite me killing you and burying you next to Hunger Games, you've still somehow managed to crawl out Pet Cemetery style. Yeah, this is in case it wasn't already readily apparent, Daggermouth is a duology set in the city state known as the Newfound Haven. And it is ostensibly divided up into separate rings, the heart of which is the heart, where the masked elite, the Vera, all live and Do something. Honestly, it's not quite clear.
Dystopian elite things.
Dystopian elite things, lots of sex and hypocrisy and
Mm-hmm.
cock and ball torture. I don't know. I don't know what rich people do.
Probably.
Yeah, but we meet Grayson Sorrell. The names in this book. If this is how I know the YA dystopian fiction is making a comeback. The fucking names in this book. If you think Grayson Sorrell sounds a bit goofy, oh, just you wait.
There are a few. There are also just a couple of like just pretty like yeah, it sounds fancy, but it doesn't like sound out there. Because you got like Callum. Callum's a pretty normal name.
Who the fuck have you been hanging?
My imaginary create characters I write. I think that has ruined me for names.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think you get a leg to stand on here.
I also work with a lot of Gen Z and Gen Alpha that have just weird fucking names.
So yeah, Grayson Sorrell is the son of one
Maximus.
President Maximus Sorrell. God, I'm sorry. Was Darth bad guy already taken? Holy shit. Holy shit. I know he's not meant to be anything more than a fucking stand in for every single fascist dictator you've wanted to secretly imagine getting fed into a wood chipper, but holy shit. Wow, that's just.
But you remembered the name.
I remember it mostly because I felt like I had to physically sit down after seeing it. Anyway, so yeah, so Grayson is the executioner of the Vera. His job is basically to
Execute.
you shoot people in the head while it's being broadcast live across the Newfound Haven for the crime of something. Honestly,
Yeah.
it is almost entirely for show, and the book is not very subtle. And on the one
Mhm.
hand, I'm gonna get into why that both does and doesn't work, but for now, we should probably like keep summarizing events.
Yeah. But yeah, he fucks up. He hesitates before he executes the second prisoner because, you know, he's got feelings.
Yeah, yeah, that's what happens when your dad's fucking Sith Lord. You know, seriously, like holy shit, like
Mhm.
the levels of
Yep.
just the sheer fucking metric force of the angst that hits you within the first few pages is that this is a new record, honestly. I have never been so thrust into someone's middle school creative writing project so fast. Also, the text does this thing where like it does this a lot. Just it does that thing where it ends a paragraph with just a single sentence break and then starts a new paragraph. And I know
Mhm.
it's meant to be like a dramatic thing, but it does it so often that I actually found myself counting how many times it does it per chapter.
Of course you would.
Yeah, on average, about like 5 or 6 times per chapter, and every
Mhm.
chapter is chapters aren't very long, but they're long enough.
Yeah. And at the end of the chapter, he's essentially being pulled off by Sith Lord Dad.
I'm just gonna call him
and
Lord Dad from now on
Lord
because I
Dad.
can't call him his name. That's that's a bridge too far. I'm sorry.
I draw the line at Maximus.
I draw the line like if your name is Maximus, if you are not an actual Roman centurion, get the fuck out of here. Leave. You have no business being in this millennium.
And then essentially told that he is going to be married off as punishment.
Yeah. Yeah. So Grayson's life isn't great.
It's really not.
Um it's really not. We get a closer look into as words. We get a closer look as to why later on, but like suffice it to say that like no one in this setting is having a good time except for Lord Dad. He's having the time of his fucking life.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. Lord Dad is fucking like having a grand old time at everyone's expense, but still.
It's like Sebastian level shit.
I know, right? I feel like Sebastian would do really well in the video.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah. I should tell, yeah. Also,
Should
why
tell
are they
you
called the Vera? We don't
don't
know,
know.
and they're not in a hurry to explain. But another thing that's going to be important later is that all of the elites, all the Vera, they wear masks.
Yeah.
Which is part of the whole like social culture. If I'm going to be
You don't
honest, I think
take off your
mainly.
mask.
I'm going to be honest, it's mainly there because I think the author probably came up with the idea and it sounded cool, so they just ran with it.
It gives some good plot moments.
Yeah, but we'll see the contrivances rear their ugly head later. But anyway, yeah. So we meet Grayson, we meet Lord Dad. We find out that Grayson is also secretly smuggling medicine into the other rings as part of some penance, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grayson he's a character.
He's so sad.
The fact that you use that tone of voice while describing his only defining trait is oh boy, we don't have time. We don't have time. We're still on chapter 1.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Yeah,
Grayson is
yeah.
very me bait.
He's so fucking baby girl.
He really is.
Yeah.
He's so
It's
baby
just
girl.
like, oh, woe is me. Oh, my life sucks. And I immediately took one look at all of that and was like, oh god, I know several people who would automatically jump his bones on that alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway,
If Misfit was here, she would back me up.
well, Misfit's not here. You're locked in here with me.
But then
Anyway, we
get
also
to meet, yeah.
Yes, our secondary. Would you like to do the honors of saying her fuck ass name? Because I don't think I can.
I was pronouncing it as Shadera Kale. Or
Can you just
Kale.
say that again? Can you just say that again for the audience?
Shadera Kale?
Shadera Kale, aka Shade.
Yeah.
God.
This is dystopia. I don't know what you want.
I want people to stop sounding like Sonic the Hedgehog OCs. That would be a good start.
No, this is dystopia. I think that's required.
So say fucking Sonic the Hedgehog over here is
She's Shadow.
whatever.
She's edgy enough.
Cold Steel the Hedgehog over here is the titular Daggermouth. She is a mercenary assassin type thing. It's not made very clear, honestly.
Assassin for hire.
Yeah. She specifically lives in the Boundary, which is, it's District 12. It's the shit. It's the shit tier. Like, the air is poison. Everybody's scrounging for basic supplies,
Everyone's sick and everyone's dying and everyone's hungry.
and everyone's miserable. Yeah. So, of course, there's a society of contract killers that are here because, of course, they are.
And she's going to see her boss.
Yeah, a guy named, fuck's sake, Jaeger Nolan.
A wolf.
So the reason I have a bit of a pet peeve about names is because names are very important in world building.
Mm-hmm.
Names are indicative of culture, of tradition, of family and lineage, and that can do a lot to color your world building. It is a very useful shorthand for setting the tone and the feeling of your whatever you're setting is all about very early on. And some people obviously go all out. There's lots of Tolkien nerds out there that like create entire conlangs just for the purpose of like making people from different places have different evocative names and titles and whatnot. I have never read a dystopia published in the last 20 years that has not gone out of its way to try and create an encyclopedic list of every fuck ass, ridiculous, over the top, multi-syllabic name and then just sprinkle it everywhere like the Edgelord fairy is in town. I I can't, man. I can't. This we're only 2 chapters in, and I'm fucking dying.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, he gives her the job to kill Grayson.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I mean, the plot's got to start somehow.
It starts on page 20.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. They set it up to be like this big thing. They don't say like who. They don't give you a lot. They don't give you a lot. Like, it's mostly just we learn 2 things about Shada. Shade, fucking. We learn a couple things about Assassin Lady, um, and that is she is terminally pissed off.
Yep.
She hates the Serals, which I mean, she has personal reasons, but honestly, Lord Dad's brood just seem eminently hateable, so I can't really fault her for that.
I mean, she says the bonus of dead parents.
Yeah, the bonus of death. That's right. They died of protagonist syndrome
Yes.
or something. I think they got publicly executed for something. Again, it's not really there's a lot of background information.
It was love outside of their, ring.
Right. High Divergent. One of these days I'm gonna have to sit down like the modern crop of authors and explain to them how caste systems actually fucking work. Just like historically, if you execute everybody for fucking, as dystopian as that is, it very rare it as much far be it for me to criticize the realism of the setting, but like if you literally execute everybody for fucking, things fall apart really fast.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate necessity of the human condition is that we are all inevitably horny on main. It's It's why dictatorships usually fall apart immediately, and why books like this exist. Anyway, moving on.
Just she gets the contract, she accepts. We get like a little bit more about the life in the boundary as she walks to her little hideout, and we also get the fact that the oldest Sorrel, Brooker, was murdered, and
Yeah.
no one knows why or who did it.
Yeah. We also meet Jameson.
Yes.
He will be our side piece for the evening.
He's a very good side piece.
You just say that because the next bit is immediately a sex scene where we get a nice description of his cock, among other things.
Mm-hmm. I am simple and easy to please.
No doy, Aubrey. With all due respect, no doy. So yeah, it's pretty. The running theme in this unrequited love is a pretty. It's a running theme in this book, and Jameson obviously, despite Shadra, only her true love is vengeance. God,
Go first. She hasn't met Grayson
Jameson.
yet.
Yeah, yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, so Jameson obviously doesn't want her to go. She's obviously going to do it anyway because we got to get this fucking train off the rails somehow. And we get into after this family dinner at the Serral household. Well, okay, but we did skip over one thing.
Yeah, we met Callum.
After, Callum Thane, who is once again in the running for my character, who I really wish was the main character in some aspect, because him being in the same room as our main deuteragonist proves how all of the charisma went to this dude.
Yes, but at least we get, I will say we at least get chapters that are from Callum's perspective, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, it does jump around perspective wise a lot. Callum is part of the Vera, and he's an old academy buddy of Grayson's. It's just that he is, essentially he runs the entertainment district.
Yeah.
Just an absolute baller, really. Like,
yep.
He's the guy who knows a guy who can fix your door, if you know what I mean.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he's great, honestly. I like Callum. His name still is ridiculous, but I'm willing to give him a pass on account of the fact that he's really the only character in this fucking book that seems to have more than two dimensions. If for no other reason than because he occupies that like crime lord archetype.
Yeah, crime lord, like mafioso with a heart kind of thing.
Yeah,
because he got the people he will do anything for.
Yeah, which I like. We all have our favorite tropes. This is one of mine.
Yeah, and he and Grayson have a conversation where Grayson talks about the vow, and there's just a lot of talking around things that are going on in the background. Both of them pretty much not saying up front that they're trying to do things to undermine the Vera.
Yeah. Which I can't help but wonder, is this actually because there are themes of social discontent in this book, or because we need Grayson to not be a complete monster so that we can presumably get him railed over a bedpost later?
And I do think there are themes of social discontent.
Really?
Specifically, yeah. But I mean, I spent a lot of time scrolling through HM Wolf's social media the last couple of days, just sort of reading posts and talks a lot about what inspired her to write this is a lot about the current world, everything going on, and feeling powerless and wanting to feel like you have some sort of power to make the world a better place.
Yeah, I don't. Well, first of all, I don't disagree with that notion
Mhm.
in the slightest. You're not going to hear me advocating for the fascists in any way, shape, or form. It's just,
Mhm.
it's more of a personal opinion thing. But like, you want to portray a world where you got social mobility against these fuckers. You can't. You got to stop portraying them as competent. It's not even that that's unrealistic. It's just that like having a monodominant, overwhelming, group of goose stepping motherfuckers to rail against is part and parcel of a lot of great fiction.
Yeah.
It's just, especially in these kind of dystopias, they're simultaneously ultra competent and all knowing while simultaneously being corrupt, and it's a balance.
Yeah.
It's a balance, and it's hard to crack, especially because you want your evil empire to be dangerous and not full of stormtroopers. Well,
Mhm.
the Star Wars kind, not the Nazi kind.
Yeah.
Um, um, and like this book, in terms of like whether or not the Vera are grimdark or grimdork. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, like, as somebody who is actively running a TTRPG campaign that's set in a world that is falling towards totalitarianism and fascism, and how we like resist that and push back against that, it is a balance
yeah,
because you want to make it just competent enough that it's not comical when the players just absolutely run roughshod all over their plans, and you want it to feel like a threat.
yeah. I think the main problem, ironically enough, is Lord Dad. I'm gonna be real with you. He's
Yeah.
so he's so comically evil. I'm not saying that like dudes like that don't exist in real life. It's more just that he's so comically evil, and yet he's also simultaneously single-handedly running the show.
Yeah,
And it's like I joke about him being a Sith Lord, but that kind of is the energy he gives off, you know?
just a little. Yeah.
He's got big Emperor Palpatine in his prime vibes,
Mhm.
and it's like, but the problem is, at least with Palpatine, we got to see him mastermind a lot of stuff. This dude doesn't mastermind shit.
But I mean, speaking of how he does rule, we do kind of see that at the dinner
Yeah. Also,
through
why is the
fear and
soup black?
violence.
Sorry, discussions of portrayals of fascism in
Uh,
fiction aside, why is the soup black?
it's a great question.
Yeah, like they specifically describe the food, and one of it is like a soup as black as the night, and it's like, what? Why? Why is the soup black? You can't you can't just gloss over that. Like normally,
It's either got active charcoal as an ingredient, or it's like some weird offshoot of blood pudding.
why are the Veyra fucking Klingons? Sorry, just the black soup threw me for a second. Like generally speaking, most potable
Mhm.
liquids meant for human consumption are not as black as the night. Odd tangent, I know, but it
Yeah.
kind of goes back to what I say. Like, they didn't need to make the soup back black. They chose to make the soup black because again, we cannot have a moment of fucking singular joy in this entire fucking book.
Yeah, and we get to watch how much of a bastard his dad is.
Yeah, so the other Serals include um
Lyra
uh Lyra
and
and
Alara.
his wife Ilara, who's actually the one who came up with all these weird rules about masks in the first place, and Lyra, who we'll get into. Lyra is Grayson's sister and
Mhm.
his younger sister specifically, and we'll get into Lyra's deal in a second because it becomes relevant. Well, more relevant later. Also, we also get a healthy dose of sexism
Yeah.
because, of course, we do. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah.
Uh, among
Of
things, we also
course,
get they are absolutely convinced that a Daggermouth uh, killed Brooker.
yeah. Um, and like Grayson is so this kid is so fucked up. And
Precious little
like
meow meow.
yep, see, there we go. There we go. Yep. He is like produced in a lab for you and those of a certain specification in fictional characters. I'd like to talk about what other qualities he has, but I can't because he doesn't have any other qualities. He's just traumatized and overcompensating for that fact. Anyway, is the ship name for these guys like Shades of Grey?
Don't know, but that would be kind of hilarious if it was.
Because I swear to God, if it is, I give up. I think I'm just done.
I did not see specific ship names in the
Well,
author's
I,
social media.
given that people in the book both refer to our deuteragonists as Gray and Shade specifically several times throughout the text.
Hey, HM Wolf, do you need a ship name?
Mm,
We got one to offer you.
don't drag me into this.
But yeah, also, yeah, Lord Dad, evil, 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 abusive,
Yeah, evil, abusive, evil. Again,
mhm,
it's
sexist.
so he's so just down horrendous that it's almost kind of fun to watch. Like you can
He,
practically see him making a supervillain speech.
yeah, like if this was a movie, the actor who they cast for him would just be chewing the scenery.
Why am I picturing Charles Dance for some reason?
Charles Dance would be a really good pick.
Charles Dance is just everyone's disapproving dad.
He does it really well.
I'm sure he's capable of doing other roles, but I have never seen him in anything where he is not actively telling his son that you should have never been born.
I did make him make him Rowan's grandsire. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that.
that was fun.
Yeah, that's more early San Francisco game lore there, folks. That's how me and Aubrey initially met, and I have been enabling this woman ever since. So
Yeah,
back back to the fucking plot. Next couple of chapters are literally just Shadra, infiltrating the heart.
yeah.
Um, it's not really important.
Grayson sending supplies out for people. Like there's a moment where they kind of cross paths but don't realize it.
Yeah, and then eventually, she witnesses another one of the public executions. Has a bit of a PTSD flashback, which if I had a nickel for every protagonist that had had a panic attack upon seeing a public execution in an unjust society, I'd have two nickels.
It's a lot, but it's weird. It's happened twice.
It's weird that it's happened twice. Yeah, I feel like you and Mia Corvere should probably be seeing the same group. You know, maybe talk about getting a personality.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, Shadra also suffers from a terminal case of needs must when the plot needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
She is angry and she wants to kill, among other things, kill all the Serals and the Vera in general, which, you know what? Fair, girl. I'm with you there. It's just
And then in chapter 7, we get the first time they try to murder each other.
the meet cute.
It's the meet cute.
And they're fucking taunting each other the entire time.
Yes.
Like, I half expected one of them to go, "Nothing personnel, kid." Like, it's so.
No, but it's personal to both of them.
This is meant to be such a serious fucking moment, and it's completely undermined by the fucking fight banter.
I enjoy a good banter.
I know you do. That's the thing. Like, I know most of my critiques can be deflected with, "You are not the target audience," and I get that, but I'm here, okay?
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you that fight banter like this only really works if, if we have been given any reason in any other context that this is appropriate for the tone, which, given everything we've seen and experienced thus far, really fucking isn't it? No one in the entire world of Daggermouth has fun.
Callum does.
Yeah, well, Callum, let's face it, Callum doesn't have fun either. Callum facilitates the sexy times, which seem to be the only form of emotional release anybody in this universe has, just based on. It's a pet peeve of mine when authors try to drive home how just dark and grim and hopeless the setting is by basically making damn sure that nobody in the setting has any way of letting off steam other than sex and murder. Because that's just not how humans are generally. The humans, illogical bastards that we are, will, even in the face of all reason and logic, find ways to make light of situations and do things that don't really matter much in the grand scheme of things, usually because the atmosphere around them is so oppressive. And humanizing your setting can actually go a long way towards making a dystopian setting feel that much more soul crushing, because like just the sheer amount of copium everybody has to huff to just get through the day. But when your setting is just blood, sex, death, and abuse, you get desensitized to it real quick. Violence stops having any real meaning because, well, you're seeing it everywhere as a response to almost everything. Sex is mostly just for the oh boy, hope I can read this text one-handed of it all. And any further moments of legitimate intimacy tend to get lost in the sauce because of it. Like, it's just, I get that you want, I get that what you're going for here. I do. But you lost me. And I suspect most of the audience, the other half of the audience, doesn't really care about the setting. They care about watching these two fuck. And the only reason why they're continuing through the passage is mainly, again, to watch Shadra and Grayson do the nasty because of the whole enemies to lovers thing, which has somehow taken over the entire literary landscape. And, that's fair, but it does feel like the author, based on what I know of them from social media and based on, intentions of this book, did genuinely want to say something. And I don't know. I just feel like, it's a shame that they don't because of the constraints of the genre that they have painted themselves into.
Yeah.
Okay, soapbox moment over. Let's get back to it.
The fight kind of is a draw. Uh, but Grayson is shot and kind of bleeding out on the floor, and he takes off his mask, the big taboo, and kind of is with his eyes, just begging Shade to end it, and she doesn't because she hesitates.
And then, almost as if on cue, Lord Dad and the Fuzz arrive on the scene.
Yeah.
Because again, we will get these two people to fuck.
Yes.
No matter how many plot contrivances we need to throw at the audience.
Mm-hmm. And there's
One
the
of
whole
them,
big thing is the law about the masks.
Yeah, which Lord Dad, in a move that probably isn't as 4D chess as he thinks it is, decides, based on Alara's legal counsel, that the best way to salvage this situation isn't to execute, it literally isn't to do the thing that he has consistently done throughout the entirety of the text, which, like, maybe if I knew more about the actual relationship between the heart and the boundary beyond just like it being the slums to the fucking gated community,
Yeah.
this would make more sense, but I don't.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I really do like agree with that. I wish we had more world building. And I wish we had more like setup for like how things got this way. And it also comes as me as somebody who writes and enjoys world building. I want to know, how do we find ourselves in this situation?
Yeah, like, what, your Lord Dad, why the fuck do you care about public relations? You live stream people getting shot in the back of the head as a hobby, as state fucking policy. Like, why suddenly, I mean, like, the other half of the equation is basically like he'd have to execute his son and heir because of how the law is, but like, again, you've proven very quickly that you don't give a shit about the laws.
Yeah, I, I think like what they're really trying to go for is the whole, they are trying to pretend like even if they're at the top, they are still following the laws, of course, because they wrote them.
There's been no evidence of that. There's been no evidence in any kind of civic trust. I feel like them trying to play PR would make sense if there has been any evidence that PR was even a factor in this like nightmare totalitarian state. Like, nobody in the boundary seems to give a shit. In fact, there's actively like rebel factions in the boundary. We know that much.
Mm-hmm. It's
The
for the heart.
Yeah, but the Vera ain't that big. We know that much. Like, the Vera is quite literally just a bunch of like rich families. And in the same scene, which by the way, we're in Lord Dad's POV here.
Yeah.
Which was, I'll admit, that wasn't on my bingo card. You don't have to see in these kind of books a chapter, even a small one, devoted to the main Sith Lord's POV. So okay, that's new. But yeah, he basically tells the family, he basically, as part of this whole contrivance, tells the family that Grayson was initially supposed to get married off to go pound sand.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, again, what? Again, I don't understand that it feels contrived. It feels incredibly contrived. It feels like there is no reason why these two should be put in any romantic situation other than the plot demands it.
Mm-hmm. And then Shade goes and accidentally starts a revolution in prison.
Yeah, let's talk about that scene because that I actually have nothing bad to say about that scene.
It was a very good scene.
No, it was very good. It was okay. First of all, if any of you are reading along with us and you get to this bit, this is the part where a lot of those trigger warnings come in.
Yes.
It's bad. It is honestly this was the good shit. This was the good grimdark shit. And I mean that sincerely, but it is
Scene that could
still
have been taken out of the 41st millennium.
yeah, it is still it is disturbing on a lot
Mm,
of levels.
yeah.
And I liked it because I'm also a little fucked up.
Yeah. I
Because
hadn't
I
noticed.
yes, yeah, and yes, I did play Warhammer when I was a teenager. How could you tell? But basically, she's put in the gulag. Essentially, she's chained up with a bunch of other prisoners, and when they find out that she took a shot at Grayson Sorrell, evil son of Doy,
Mm-hmm.
um,
And she doesn't know at this
obviously
point if he's dead or not.
no, because she does actually shoot him. It's just
Mm,
he survives.
yeah.
Obviously, they get pretty fired up, and the guards react in the only way that fucking stormtroopers can, and they start executing people. And Shadra basically has to watch as these people who are like fucking they're pounding at the walls of their cells and they're singing like
Singing.
revolutionary anthems are executed en masse
Yeah.
while she begs for them to stop.
It's a very evocative scene.
It's very powerful, and God, I wish we had more of that, but we don't. We have to get back to the enemies to lovers subplot. So yeah,
Other than the next scene, Grayson comes back to the land of the living and is told what's going on.
and he has two modes, angry and brooding. So he's in angry mode, and eventually
Mm-hmm.
the switch will flip over to brooding mode.
Yeah.
Also, we kind of glossed over it because it doesn't really have any bearing on the plot whatsoever. He also kind of has a side action thing going on.
Yeah. Just, getting out that stress.
Again, I made my feelings about how sex becomes incredibly boring when it's literally the only form of emotional catharsis in this entire fucking book. So I won't continue to beat a dead horny horse. Let's move on. So they get a sit down with Lord Dad. Lord Dad
Yeah.
explains, "Congratulations on your nuptials." They are both understandably not okay with this.
Mm-hmm.
But Grayson is too traumatized to stand up to Lord Dad, and also he fucking pulls out like an Uno reverse card, live footage of Jameson.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know. Again, it's one of those instances of him simultaneously being a supervillain
I
and also weirdly competent.
mean, you could put that down to like having some sort of like spy net, not even spy network, but just drones who operate on computer programs.
It's not beyond believability. It's just, again, the book is basically straight up telling us, no, this is going to happen. I don't
Mm,
care what arguments you have to the contrary.
pretty much.
Yeah. So fuck. I guess she's getting married at gunpoint.
Yep, shotgun
Congratulations.
wedding.
Yay. And then there's the bit where they're fucking like they're initially cohabitating and they try to kill each other again.
Yep.
And
But first we get a chapter from Jameson.
yeah.
Him
I
being
don't
stalked by
care.
guns. Yeah.
Again,
And
the amount of fucks I give over the fate of a character who's only there to be the obligatory uh point of the love triangle. I I don't care. Jameson is a non-entity as far as I'm concerned. He only exists in the plot for the sake of spicing up the romance arc.
yeah, and we get like a little bit more because he goes and talks to the rest of the Daggermouths about the whole thing.
Why are they called Daggermouths? Is that ever explained?
Not that I'm aware.
Okay. Moving on. I'm saying that a lot. Yeah, like
And then no, it's the when they go and cohabitate and try to murder each other again. But they're both pretty fucked up physically, so it doesn't go well.
yeah.
And his apartment's bugged.
If it seems like I'm glossing over a lot here, it's because not much happens
This
in the
is
lead up.
yeah, chatting and getting to know each other, fighting.
There's the obligatory cohabitation scene where Grayson ends up cooking for her when she nearly sets his apartment on fire trying to make herself food.
She's drunk as shit
Yeah.
and has never cooked before.
Again, I feel like the circumstances of this fucking I feel like the adorableness of the movement is slightly undercut by, the horrifying circumstances surrounding the whole affair. Again, like they need to stop putting this shit in my dystopia, man. It doesn't work.
And then we get to see what the Callum's up to.
Right. Well, Callum is beating the shit out of some dude in a background, fucking in a back room, fucking casino style.
Yeah.
Which, cool.
Yeah.
More power to you. Again, I don't think Callum's necessarily. He's just a cool character. I don't necessarily think he's very deep, but I would honestly, his point of view on this whole situation just seems so much more interesting than our actual protagonists.
I also appreciate all of the art that the author has commissioned of all of these characters because it's really good.
Yeah, it does get aesthetic style points, I guess. The imagery is very stylized, but also very brutalist. I get the sense that H.M. Wolf definitely had a certain aesthetic in mind when she was originally writing this. It's just that aesthetics in a print medium, like the audience is going to imagine in their brain space what they're going to imagine,
Yeah.
What it's interesting to me, like especially descriptions of ultra stylized or like ultra evocative scenes specifically, and like what the author no doubt is envisioning in a moment versus what somebody writing it could potentially be seeing in their mind's eye, because they often tend to be two very different pictures.
Yeah, and then we also in this chapter get to learn about Callum's relationship with Grayson's sister.
Yeah,
Or non-relationship.
Yeah, because I love you too much to make you fall for someone. Fuck off. I hate this trope. It's such a fucking Hollywood trope. It only exists to drag out the tension until the inevitable third act reversal.
But yeah, she also shows up to let him know what's going on with Grayson, and uh yeah, and so we can, have people meet, and Callum can be like,
Discuss and
Callum can be
occasionally,
like, be smart about this.
yeah, meet and discuss and angst and occasionally, do a little bit of undressing with the eyes.
Mhm.
Mostly undressing with the eyes, I'm being honest. This everybody is so horny with me.
Look, you said it's the only way they can get out their feelings.
I know, so it makes sense, but at the same time, it's like at a certain
Mhm.
point, it stops meaning anything.
Yeah. Grayson comes back, cooks, and they kind of have their first real chat where they're
Yeah,
not trying to murder each other.
yeah. And that leads us into the second family dinner.
Uh, yeah, eventually, because
Yay, more
Grayson
Lord Dead.
Grayson gives us the like she gives they start developing an understanding, is how I'll put it for now. Uh, and he gives her a mask, and then takes her around and shows her like all of the big important things around. She learns that they should totally have enough food for everyone. Those are some really big places where they make all the food.
Yeah, which I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Resource scarcity, artificial scarcity is a tactic. Like, yeah, it's not exactly subtle.
Mm-hmm.
What bugged me about the chapter wasn't so much the time wasting of it all. I actually did like finally getting to see what the fuck any of this actually is supposed to be about.
Mm-hmm.
It's just more the bit where like Grayson is like, I know I'm complicit. I know I'm a monster. It's like, dude, so fucking what? Like, okay. If it I feel like this sort of contrition would make more sense if we had A, gotten to know him longer, or B, if he had a personality outside of just being precious little meow meow. Do people really find this? Aubrey, level with me
Mm-hmm.
here.
Yeah.
Like, just be real with me here. Like, is this really like what the people want? Is this like this isn't like some prank that the rest of creation is pulling on me, right? I'm not being currently filmed right now. Yeah, like people actually
No,
find
no,
this
there's no prank.
romantic.
Uh, it's interesting because spending a lot of time and reading a lot of books in here, there is the enemies to lovers thing is less of like enemies want to someone who wants to murder us. It comes down to a lot of like wanting someone who like deeply cares and will do things like is willing to go to extremes to protect the people they care about. It's a very long, convoluted conversation that you can trace pretty far back in media. Because I mean, just look at like Spike and Buffy. That's
Yeah,
enemies to lovers.
but like the reason that happened was because Spike was originally written as purely an antagonist, and then people started thirsting over him. So
Mm-hmm.
the network decided to turn him romanceable so
Yeah,
that they could keep him around longer and not have him just be the villain of the week.
I mean, something like that, but still also like the way that relationship goes. I think Spike and Buffy is kind of a mold that a lot of enemies to lovers in recent books kind of follows, even if they don't realize they're following it. It's either
Whatever
that or
happened to like rivals to lovers?
Rivals to lovers is still pretty popular.
Like because that just feels more that just seems to make more sense in my
Mm.
brain. Direct antagonist to lovers feels like such a fan fiction trope.
It kind of is, but also like yet again, it kind of exploded in romantasy with A Court of Thorns and Roses, with characters like Rhysand and Feyre.
Right, of course, because we should all be
Mhm.
taking notes from fucking Sarah J. Maas. That, yeah, sure. That's a good role
She
model to
kind of
have.
established the genre.
Well, those books suck. I'm sorry, but they do. They're bad.
Misfit Art and I are not planning, totally not planning an entire episode just to talk about the series before the new book comes out in October.
So that's where that sense of foreboding comes from. Yeah, man, I have never felt more like a fish out of water.
But yeah, no,
I
like
like,
Rivals Delivers is a trope that is still pretty popular. Like I would say characters like Zayden from Fourth Wing and Violet are much closer to Rivals Delivers because there's not actually like actual hostility between them. There's no they draw weapons at each other a few times, but like there's no actively trying to murder each other. And also Rivals
yeah,
Delivers very popular in sports romance.
yeah. I've seen heated rivalry. Okay,
Canadian hockey, Yowie.
I was forced. My wife basically tied me to the couch and forced me to watch the Canadian hockey yowie. It was good.
Yeah,
These bitches be hella gay, and I respect
they
that.
do.
Um, but I don't know. Just
Mhm.
like I don't understand when the shift became a prerequisite of a passionate romance became actually having to murder each other. I don't.
Tropes of the genre.
I just don't get it, man. It feels like
That's
something that got transplanted directly from slash fanfics.
Yeah, fanfics in general. There's a lot in romantasy that definitely has roots in fanfiction. And I mean, I wouldn't. Daggermouth takes tropes of romantasy, but it's not. I would not consider it romantasy.
No, this is someone's Hunger Games fanfic.
Mhm.
Except without the fucking Battle Royale ripoff.
But yeah, we get to our second family dinner, and it's somehow worse than the first.
Honestly, I was having a great time because, like, it
Darth the
wasn't
dad.
Luke's Lord Dad, man. Like, I
Yeah.
can't. I I I'm having this weird reaction to Lord Dad. Like, I know I should hate this guy, but like, he's so unapologetically evil that I'm kind of just generally entertained by him. He is unmitigatedly the worst human being ever of all time.
Yeah.
Just, but I don't know if I'm just fucking desensitized, but instead of getting like, I feel like the author wanted me to get, understandably angry and just anticipating the moment when this dude gets introduced face first to that wood chipper I mentioned earlier.
Mhm.
But
It'll
instead,
be
I was almost
cathartic.
kind instead of like awaiting catharsis, I was like, oh man, I can't wait for the next Lord Dad scene. It's gonna be so fucking comically evil. I can't wait. I can't wait for this fucking Lex Luthor wannabe to start yelling A1 at the top of his lungs again. This is gonna be great. I'm sorry. I know that's not what that's
Mhm.
clearly not what was intended, but like I just
There
it's
is
not even that I
something
want him to be
there's something good about an
nuanced.
infinitely hateable villain that you can enjoy.
Yeah, like it's not even that I want him to be nuanced per se. He's clearly I know what he's meant to be a stand-in for, but like I was just like, man, such a prick. I can't wait to see what he ruins next.
I mean, it's a vibe.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
And unfortunately, he's going to do bad things.
Yeah. The family dinner in particular, there's a scene with Lyra in particular with again, folks, if you're sensitive to domestic abuse,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really have any notes because again, none of it seems out of character for Lord Dad.
Yeah.
So yeah, like again, it is what it is, man. The author very kindly included a list of trigger warnings at the very beginning of the book, so you can't say that nobody didn't warn you.
Mhm.
Can't
And
say that nobody didn't warn you.
this.
Is that a double negative?
Maybe.
I,
But yeah,
I, I'm
this
professional. I'm a professional. God damn it!
this book definitely it can be a lot. And
Yep.
especially in the current state of the world. I'm the weirdo that watches horror films to relax. So my barometer for things is fucky.
I think I'm just too dead inside, honestly. I think I was desensitized by too much exposure to Warhammer at an early age. It takes a lot to genuinely shock me,
Mhm.
and that's not a good thing, I think. I think that's a me problem.
That's fair.
I like if I had one thing about all of this, it's just like in fiction, we have a tendency with characters like Lord Dad to make our fascist dictators and their inner circle weirdly competent. And the reason why we do this is because the truth is the real world inspirations of guys like Lord Dad are such feeble, ridiculous human beings who, if not for contrivances of luck and social standing, wouldn't even be trusted to run a fucking ice cream stand. But your narrativizing brain keeps telling you that, like, no, your fictional dudes have to be, able to back up their threats. And you get this weird sort of dissonance.
Mhm.
There's a longer conversation to be had
Yeah.
about portrayals of totalitarianism and fascism and just like the role dystopias have in depicting our current, political climate. I'm sure people are going to be very normal about on the internet because, when has having an opinion on the internet, ever resulted in an argument, right?
Never, ever, ever.
Yeah.
People on the internet never argue.
Yeah, but like the main thing is like it's a difficult balancing act with this sort of
Mhm.
thing, with the sort of evil empire trope. You want the main bad dudes to be powerful because you want it to feel like a genuine effort for the main protagonists, whoever they might be, to actually overcome them. You want to see Luke Skywalker defeat Darth Vader. You want to see Ong, lay the smackdown on Fire Lord Ozai. I'm sure I can keep going, but
Yeah.
the point still stands. Let's face it, the real life fuckery is mostly born of a combination of incompetence and apathy. And that can be, and that doesn't really make for a good story. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately.
So I guess my final thought for that is don't equate the person that you're thinking of right now with Lord Dad, because that's giving the person you're thinking of right
Yeah.
now far too much credit.
Just think of him as Lord Palpatine.
Like, there is no evil plan, guys. They're not smart enough.
Hmm.
And I'm, as bad as things are right now, I am genuinely heartened by the fact that so many people agree that things are bad right now, that there's not a lot of people on the fence about that whole thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we're going to be okay. I'm not saying that people should ignore what's going on. I'm not saying that.
Hmm.
I'm not saying that people shouldn't still, do stuff, obviously, to remedy this whole situation.
But
But
we've got I feels like for the first time in a while there are people out there actively trying to make a difference.
yeah, and ultimately, catastrophizing solves nothing. You can you can ring the alarm bells about this or that all you want, but like at the end of the day, if you don't, it's probably going to happen if you don't do something about it. Like,
Hmm.
you can publish as many video essays you want on the topic, but like, okay, great, you've raised awareness of the problem. Are you
All
going
your
to do
reps.
something about the problem?
Just like, I know
Yeah.
that sounds, you probably hear it all the time, but call your fucking representatives. They're supposed to represent you. And there are a lot of websites out there, like 8 calls, that make it super fucking easy. They give you a script and everything. You call, you follow the script, and you hang up.
And if for whatever reason, like the stress is getting to you and like you feel paralyzed, don't rake yourself over the coals for it. Like, shit's hard.
It really is.
It's okay to be overwhelmed. It's okay to not be fighting the good fight every single moment. Like, honestly, sometimes the best thing you can do to just fuck with these guys, because believe me, it's really easy to fuck with them. They are incredibly
Mhm.
thin skinned, is just ignore them. Just continue to live your life as free and clear as you can from their bullshit.
Exactly.
It's a very small form of rebellion, but it still counts, and you should feel good about that. Do not feel bad just because you're not out marching in the streets every day. Just give yourself some grace, and when you're ready, and when you got your community around you, then find a way to organize and just keep at it.
Mm.
Shit's
If you're,
tough, but
yeah,
there are plenty of people out there, plenty of other nerds and weirdos and fanfic writers that would probably love nothing more than to just talk about how much life sucks with you.
yeah. Hey, if you need some escapism, check out Vampire with No Name.
Yeah, check up the van. I hear that's good. uh, yeah.
At least one festival thinks it's good.
At least a group of nerds in Baltimore have decided my fate, apparently.
Mhm.
Thank you, Baltimore nerds. I'm sorry I didn't like your crab cakes that one time.
I won't tell them if you don't. But yes,
Okay.
the chapter 20 ends with a moment between Callum and Lyra, and it's a very kind of poignant, sweet moment. Uh, and yeah, and also Shade like being like, Grayson, you've been shot. Please let me patch you up. After he kind of has a bit of a moment and trashes the department.
But what do you want me to say? Like,
I don't know.
it yeah, no, I've got my bingo card out. I'm hitting the stamp. What do you want from me? I know what the tropes are.
Yeah, we got the tropes.
Yeah.
And
The
that is the
fucking
first 20 chapters.
yeah. Uh, so that was Daggermouth. Still got no idea why they're called that.
Yeah. And we'll definitely come back in a couple of weeks and discuss the second half of the book. We may or may not have more guests. Who knows?
No, they know what's good for them. They know that for too long I have lain dormant, biding my time, waiting for the moment when
But
I finally get to talk about shit that's only mildly tangential to the story at hand for 30 minutes. Huh?
yes. But speaking of, we do it every month. Is next month is going to be a bit of a queer reads grab bag from a bunch of books that were on my TBR that I have been looking for an excuse to read. And the books are, we have Youngblood by Sasha Lawrence. That is a lesbian vampires. Let's see
Shocking. I'm
if
weird for this channel. I know.
if vampires will win out again.
I
We
mean,
we'll see. We
not
have
yeah.
gestures
Come
at
on.
vampire with no name. I understand.
Come on.
We have A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall. We have House of Rain by Harley LaRue.
Like
And
her.
we have Warrior Princess Assassin by Bridget Krimmer.
Wonder what that one's about.
I don't know. Title certainly can't be about a warrior, a princess, or an assassin.
It's about turtles, isn't it? I just know it.
Probably, yeah. But if you want descriptions for any of these and content warnings, those will be in the server. And that's I'm hearing is it'll be up. The voting will be open for about a week after this episode comes out. And yeah, vote on it. Vote on what book you want us to read next. We've got lesbian vampires. We've got a Bridgerton, but make it trans. We've got spooky lesbians, and we've got a fantasy polycule.
So this is my punishment for something, isn't it?
You might like one of these books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is this is the result of some Faustian bargain I made in the past.
Yeah, probably. It's called
Cool.
inviting me to your game.
You came to me. I didn't do shit.
Fair. Oh
You
no,
came to me.
Faustian bargain you made was killing Eddie.
You decided to stay after that. I didn't fucking force you. All right.
Mhm.
That's all from us, nerds.
Yes.
Stay safe.
Enjoy the second half of the book, and we'll be back with our thoughts and summaries.
Life's tough. Friends make it slightly easier, just saying.
This is true. See everybody in 2 weeks.